Swing it, boys, swing for the fence. Shove it, boys, make 'em miss. Some big league chew and a baseball souvenir. Come on, sing with me now. The Joe is home, sweet home. It's roll, tide, roll. The Joe is home, that's right. Home, sweet home. Hey, look, is that Roll Tide Willie over there? Blitz, Bama, Blitz.
Hello, good evening. Welcome again, everybody, to the Weekly Joe podcast, the authority on Alabama baseball, the longest running and best podcast dedicated to Alabama baseball that you will find anywhere. I'm Paul Graham. I've got with me tonight, I've got the full house. How about that? We got Roger Myers coming to us from Tuscaloosa. We've got Meghan Dennis coming to us from Conway, South Carolina, where some really good baseball is being played lately, and especially even last night that we'll talk about a little. Drew Champlin from the Hoover Bureau. And back with us tonight, Griffin Smith, straight off the football field, and been doing a lot of lacrosse games. Tell them a little about what you've been up to.
Yeah, it's I played lacrosse growing up. When my wife and I moved here, didn't have any ties to any school, so didn't really feel like wanted to coach, but wanted to give back. So been doing lacrosse officiating for a few years. I won the chapter's Ironman Award. I worked 77 games throughout the regular season. I had playoff game last week. Like Paul said, football spring scrimmages here in Texas tonight. Tomorrow I got one up in Melissa, and then I got another state playoff game this weekend for lacrosse. So
Right.
all over the place, but happy to be back.
Yeah. And just a reminder, doing most high school, that type of thing. When the fights break out, keep it landscape for video. And when you do that, if you get good video for us. But no, we're hoping he'll train to be an umpire. We need a few more home plate umpires in the SEC, based on some of what we've seen lately. We won't blow your cover that you're a big Bama homer, but we can certainly use it down the road. Thanks to Camp Land. Thanks to Peter Slight for our intro and our theme. And thanks again to Christian Sykes and Crimson Crossover for hosting us as always. So let's get right into it. Bama baseball coming down the stretch. It's hard to believe it's, we've been going at this for 3 months, not to mention the fall. Felt like just kind of a continuation from the end of last season to portal time and right into fall. And the end is upon us, right? About a month from now, we will have probably won our regional, maybe be playing our super regional for a chance to go to Omaha. I think if I got my timing right, hard to believe, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It goes so fast.
Yeah. It's such an accelerated schedule. Once you get into it, it's 14 weekends and then the postseason, and it does fly by so fast. You get the ups and downs. I mean, this hasn't felt like such an up and down season. I mean, it's been a pretty consistently played season, I think. I mean, how would you describe Meghan? You know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't seem, I guess, in ways quite as much of roller coasters this year as past. And I know we'll touch on it, but like the midweeks, I think have definitely added to that and being able to end up like we have with there. But I guess maybe like this last weekend and then a couple that I feel like kind of got away from us have kind of made it feel that way more recently. But I think that's more recency bias as anything.
Right. Not getting swept. That's the key, right, Griff?
I mean, you talk about it all season. I mean, there's, you look at how good Tennessee was last year, and obviously last year to this year, everyone's going to change, but, no one makes it out alive, really. I mean, look at how good Texas is, and they've blown the doors off everybody, and they go to Arkansas, and they lose 2 or 3. I mean, that's just nature of the league, and, it's everyone's going to have their comeuppance throughout the season. And I know we've had our fair share, but no rest for anybody.
No, exactly. It's one of the more consistent teams in the league. I think Alabama. I mean, not consistently great, Drew, but consistently good to very good at times. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's fair to say. I think it's kind of a deal where, you haven't gotten swept, and last year we had 13 wins at the very end we had 12 wins going into the very last game of the season. Absolutely needed one. So,
right.
As disappointed as we may be about a couple of games this year, especially the Sunday Vanderbilt game, we have 13 wins now. So, I mean, I don't see how we are not already in a regional at the very minimum. And I know we're not going to get swept in both of these series. Probably won't get swept in either one of them. So I feel I feel pretty good about our direction right now. Just, gotta make more plays at the end to close out these
Yeah,
games.
exactly. It's good to be just competitive. I mean, at least not you don't go into many games thinking, oh man, this one's done. We've had a couple of arms thrown at us that we just looked like we didn't have a shot, but we've had some really good ones that we handled pretty well. So here, let's talk a little bit about the Troy game last night because that's kind of top of mind. We're recording was this Wednesday night, 24 hours after that game. A good Troy team. I mean, I think the thing you get in playing a team like Troy midweek on Tuesdays rather than getting a 3-game weekend series, Roger, is you don't see those premium arms that they have, and they've got them right. I mean, there's some premium arms on that team. You don't see them, and if you've got better pitching depth than them, you probably got an advantage, right?
Correct. Yes. Although, I mean, that Felinski guy's pretty good. I mean, I don't know why they didn't start him if they were going to
Yeah.
throw him 5 innings.
Yeah.
I mean, he did give up 3 in his first inning, but
Mhm.
he was already behind 4-0,
Right.
4-0 before he ever made it on the mound. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, say, comparing Alabama to LSU or Arkansas. We're not going to have the upper end depth that they did. And then so the difference between between Alabama and Troy is, sort of like the difference between Alabama and some of the SEC teams as far as maybe not your frontline guys, but the down the road
Right.
guys.
Right. And
So-
we got the luxury. We got the luxury on Tuesday night of throwing a guy like Aiden Finateri, who's started 20-something ACC games. It
Right.
started on the weekend for us. JT Blackwood has started multiple midweek games this year. I think maybe he got a weekend start. Maybe when Riley was out, I can't remember if he picked up one of those or not. So pitching really set the tone in this one last night, Megan. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it was we came out, got the job done, I think on all fronts as far as that goes. Not too bad of really any innings. I mean, I think
Mhm.
maybe towards the end it got a little sloppy, but I think, when you look at what the runs were at,
Right.
can't complain.
No. Drew, the thing that drives us nuts all the time, and you've seen her text strings if people were to see them, is the bullpen walks, right? When you come in out of the bullpen, you start walking guys, and especially you got an 8-0 lead or an 8-1 lead. And we had a little bit of that last night. It felt a little, that get you a little uneasy with PTSD after Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's a little easier when you're up 8-0 or 9-1 instead of 7-2, even in an SEC game. But yeah, you just want guys to come in and throw strikes, and I think you kind of give them a little more leeway to pitch out of it. But just glad we didn't have to pitch Osmer or anything like that. I
Yeah,
mean, we
right.
haven't really won many uh blowouts, and I think last night it was 10-2. Isn't that right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10-2
So
final.
7-0 after 1.5 innings, I think it
Mhm.
was. So nice to have one of those. Offense kind of scuffled a little bit in the middle of the inning in the game,
Mhm.
but not that bad. I mean, so yeah, it was good to see. And obviously, LeBron got hurt and had to come out of the game, but he's okay.
Mhm.
So it was good to see John Young Jr. get a couple of at
Yeah,
bats,
exactly. Yeah.
hit a couple balls hard. So obviously, you don't want LeBron out for any extended action. Doesn't look like he's going to be out for anything, but just and then Steele got in the bat. I think so. Just good to get a little
Jumped
bit.
on a pitch too. Jumped
Yeah.
right back.
he smashed it. He and Norton both.
Yeah, Norton as well. He'd been struggling. Good to see him. So yeah,
And
Steele. It seems like every time he comes up, he's either hitting a home run or hitting the ball to the wall. So
right.
uh,
Well, and
Yeah.
the good thing about this game, I mean, the 2 games with Troy, 3-1 and 10-2.
Yeah.
So
Two
we're
different types of games.
Alabama's throwing midweek guys,
Yeah,
and
sure.
with a little mixture of some of the bullpen, they're throwing midweek guys. Okay, the team that's ranked 4 spots ahead of Alabama in 18 innings has scored 3 runs off midweek pitching.
Yeah.
So you say we didn't see their weekend arms. Well, what would they do if they saw our weekend arms?
Exactly. It'd be a pretty
mean,
compelling matchup if we ever got a Griff, a 3-game set with Troy. I mean, it'd kind of be fun on a weekend sometime.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I know we've played. South will play them occasionally, going down there to either on to Florida or whoever. But yeah, I think it's we play obviously some non-traditional teams that you'll see. Obviously North Dakota State was a team this year that we've seen. I know Valparaiso's come down a few times and we've seen them play. But I think having Love going to, Jacksonville, coming to Frisco, somewhere, outside the norm, playing three Power Four teams. That's great. But I think if we played, Troy for a weekend, gives us a barometer of, okay, these guys are typically in the hunt to go somewhere in a regional. Obviously,
Right.
that came to us in 23, but I think it would give us, I think, give both teams a chance to really see, how they stack up against each other. And
Mhm.
obviously, I think we should take care of business more times than not. We have, I
Right.
think the streak against Troy is now what,
10,
10.
10 in a row. 10 in a row. Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's, continuing that, I think, would obviously be a good mojo for the team in general.
Yeah,
So
yeah, huge crowd there last night. I mean, they had a great turnout. Obviously, a lot of Alabama loyalists there as well. I would think. You think about 50-50 crowd, Roger? Or
Some maybe there may have been a
yeah,
little more. There's I saw so many people with Alabama hats and Troy shirts.
yeah,
I mean, or vice versa. I mean, it was because most people down there, well, not, of course, there's going to be some Auburn based on where they
yeah,
are, but a whole lot of people down there are Alabama fans, and
sure.
they're Troy fans because it's their home team. But yeah, I think probably it was pretty close, and I believe they said it was the biggest crowd they'd ever had.
Maybe so. Yeah, yeah.
From when I've been down there, it was the first time like there weren't enough seats.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, literally standing room only. They were
Interesting.
the
Yeah.
whole game. They were trying. Is anybody in that seat? Is anybody in that seat? So I had
And
to
a
give up
lot
my.
of a
I
lot
had
of
to give
folks
up
out
my extra seat.
yeah, a lot of folks outside the wall, just kind of out there. Looks like
Right.
that's a kind of their
That
their
Doubles
chip to
alley.
be like Mississippi State.
that left
Right?
field. What do they call it? The
Doubles alley.
doubles
Doubles
alley.
alley. Yeah.
They had a
Doubles-
lot of people out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
in golf carts and
Yeah,
Yeah,
tents.
I'd love to see it. I used to cover Troy back in the day, 05
Uh-huh.
to 2012. So I've seen a lot of good baseball down there.
Mhm.
And they really take it seriously. They've had a lot of really good years over the last 2 decades, and
Mhm.
completely renovated the stadium over the last couple of decades.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like the all turf field.
Hate it.
You'd
Hate
think
it.
at least around the base paths they'd have dirt,
Uh-huh.
but and Bobby Pierce told me privately that down right field they hang 310, but it's really 300
Yeah, in
now.
confidence.
Yeah, so it's really a 300 because you can't really do anything because there's a road behind that. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if that's changed since they did even more renovations after I stopped covering. Maybe they'd moved home plate back a little bit, but definitely a short perch out there, and they recruit to that with left-handed power hitters.
Right. So they're a 42 in the RPI going into the game. We were 13. We actually jumped up a spot. Maybe a function of beating Troy. Maybe a function of Coastal beating Clemson. I mean, every other thing that goes on in a given night. I didn't see if anyone above us lost. They're going to be 2 seed, maybe a 3 somewhere. I mean, a 2 and a 3 is not really any difference.
Probably a 3. They have won every series they've played this year.
Yeah.
But I think they've only swept one of them. So you think about it, they've got losses to like ULM and Texas
Yeah,
State. So you
that's
have a
what's hurting
good,
them.
yeah, but those kind of losses in the Sun Belt will hurt your RPI. So
Exactly.
definitely a regional quality team.
Right. Definitely be there. Going to be a nuisance for somebody because, like I said, they got arms that on the weekend that are going to look like SEC arms, just not as many of them. And I think that's the biggest difference there. You mentioned the injury to LeBron sliding in. Really, I mean, he was booking around. He hit that ball well. He got the kind of the top hand over, hit a ball with a lot of top spin, legged out a double. His slide was just very hard and awkward, and it looked like his head kind of snapped back, I think is what Rob said. His helmet kind of got him in the neck, held out for precautionary measures. Rob said after the game he was going to be okay. You mentioned John Young Jr. I thought, and I texted with his dad a little bit today about it. He really showed, he booted the one, just got in a hurry. It was a tailor-made double play ball. Didn't hurt. But the good thing is you do that and you just move on to the next. It didn't hurt. And everything else hit at him all night. He gobbled up. He got one on the backhand, throwing across. He got one coming across the bag at second. I thought he looked really comfortable out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's his natural spot, and he, obviously, a little nerves. And you think about it. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
He's Brian's protege. I mean, they work closely together, but
sure,
still, you got to, it's a pretty big deal. A freshman kid come in for the best player in the country, in my opinion, despite his struggles the last 2 or 3 weeks. But
sure,
I mean, that doesn't take away his ability. And I think John's learning a lot from Justin, and it'll help him out in the future. But yeah, other than that, play. He had the
It's
bonus
tailor
of
made.
the 6-3 double play. After that, he showed some good range.
He did, yeah.
And then stung, and then double play ball he hit pretty hard, but then that the hit to right was
the
good
single,
to see as well.
Yeah, right. Good to see Brendan Norton come off the bench, get a hit, and really not be good contact on a ball out there. Again, another night for Cade Snell. What can you say about Cade Snell? I mean, the MVP of the team.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
he's leading the conference in RB and average. I think Roger, you posted it. It went up to
390,
but it went up again. So it's,
I think
394, I believe.
Yeah. I calculated 394 last night when I was doing the recap. So yeah.
When he was 4 for 5. He should have been 5 for 5. He hit a stinger in the short, and they were shifted just exactly right. I mean, but he hit the ball 5 times, like on the nose.
Yeah. So he's 4 for 5. He drives in 5. He hits a homer. Staten with a 2 for 4 night, drives in 3 runs. LeBron, good to see LeBron getting the bat going a little bit. He's been really kind of struggling in SEC play, striking out a lot. But 2 hits before he exited. 14 hit attack. I was pleased with just how aggressive we were because, again, I thought we just lapsed into last weekend, kind of that same old melees of, okay, we got a good pitcher here. I don't have a plan going up there. You know what I'm talking about, Meghan. It feels like we get up there with and we'll talk about Vandy a lot more later, but like when you don't have a plan and you're just guessing, you start seeing pitches and getting yourselves in the hole. We didn't do that last night.
And it was really refreshing that we didn't do it because, I think we've seen that a lot kind of in this later half of the season. And we kind of looked, I think, at the plate more like the team we saw at the beginning, that was able to come back against Ohio State, was able to beat what has turned out to be a really, really good Coastal team, beat, a bunch of teams early on, beat Texas A&M, who's turned it around. Like, like that patience was there, that we're going to make contact. It's not going to go up and just kind of look silly, that we've kind of been seeing in the last few weeks.
Yeah, exactly. The strikeouts were, we had 8 strikeouts, but, again, sometimes it's a function of being aggressive. Sometimes it's just a function of, I don't have a plan up there. That's kind of what it felt like with the 30-something we had with Vandy over the weekend. We knew we were going to strike out a lot against Vandy. I think we said it on here last night, or last week to prepare for it. Anyway, 13-0 in midweek games. The only SEC team to go unbeaten in midweek games. 24-1 non-conference record. So big part of being at that RPI of 12 is the fact you haven't, not so much who you beaten, it's just you hadn't lost to anybody that would have damaged you so much, right, Drew?
Yeah, no doubt. Except who I can't even remember. Was it Presbyterian? Is that who we lost to?
Yeah.
That's the one.
So that was a long time ago, and that was that was with our better pitchers getting hit pretty hard in that game too. So
that was Sunday. Sunday, Bobby.
Crazy. The bullpen guys gave up a lot. So yeah, just kind of crazy how we've played really well in all these games. So or the midweek games.
So I think what's hurting us a little bit, because you look at the RPI. Let me pull it up real quick. The when you look at RPI and relative to the conference, you're like, why is Auburn so high? Why is it? Well, so much of it's strength of schedule right now. Texas is 1, Georgia, and they've earned it, obviously. Georgia at 15-9 in the conference, so not a couple of games ahead of us, is got a strength of schedule of 7. They're 2 in the RPI. Auburn's 3 in the RPI. Arkansas's 4. Vandy's 5. I mean, and their strengths of schedule are of those, so those top 5 are SEC: 14, 7, 2, 22, and 3. That's probably the biggest difference. We're sitting at 27 in strength of schedule, and I tell you why. Not so much our SEC schedule, except for Missouri doesn't help it, but Ohio State has turned out to be a real dog. They're 11-33. They're 3-21 in the Big Ten.
Ooh, glad we came back and won that game.
Yeah, I mean, so think of where we'd be with if we had not come back from that one. North Dakota State, our second favorite team in the country this year. Remember, had the long road trip. Probably didn't first 20 games probably on the road. They're 16-28, but they're 12-12 in conference. So they've been better, but that's I don't know where they are in this. Presbyterian 17-28, got a 9-12 conference record. Bradley 11-33, with a 7-14 conference record. That's why we're 29 instead of 3, 7, 8, whatever these other SEC teams are. So that's why we're probably scrambling at 13 and 11 in the SEC to be in the host discussions, where everything you hear about Auburn is, hey, they're a host, top 8 national seed, maybe, or I'd say Auburn. I mean, you pick any of them above you, Vanderbilt, for instance. I think those are what's hurting us. The impact of the Sunday game. Oh my God! I mean, think of the everything you see this week. We're kind of on the got more work to do, a little bit of the outside looking in to be a host. Obviously, comfortably in a regional, because the projections are you're gonna minimum probably win 3 of these next 6, hopefully. But even if you're 15-15, 16-16, you're in. But maybe you've got to get to 17 to win a regional. Megan, you're shaking your head. You agree?
I definitely do. I think I was definitely on the camp of 16, but now how strength of schedule is playing out, how RPI, and really just more importantly, after this weekend, if it's coming down
Yeah,
between us and Vandy's going to have that head to head, and the strength
exactly.
of schedule is better than ours.
Right. Drew, you saw some of our banner today. I mean, who do you kind of feel like among SEC teams, it's us, Oklahoma, and who's Ole Miss, maybe are kind of vying for one spot potentially?
Uh, Possibly. I think if we're in that, I think the top 8 teams in the SEC are going to get host spots, but I think all those teams are going to be at least 16 and 14. So, I'm like Megan. I thought early in the year, I thought 16 and 14 were for sure
Yeah,
get us a host spot because it did 2 years ago, and so now it may have to be 17 and 13. But if we go 16 and 14, then we will have won one of these last 2 series,
yeah,
and I believe we will have only won 4 of the 10 SEC series. So I can kind of see that working against us
yeah.
as far as being a host. So
Right. Two sweeps, Oklahoma, and then one of these would have been right. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's like you just can't lose a home series to Mississippi State
Yeah.
when they had
That
Lamonis,
hurts.
and you know, losing 2 out of 3 at Vanderbilt is, I mean, I think we should have won the series,
Yeah.
but losing, I mean, they swept Georgia at home, so they're a good team, great
Sure.
coach, tremendous program. So just losing on the surface 2 out of 3 is not really anything to be ashamed of. But the way
Yeah.
we lost is like, man, you just can't.
Right. Roger, you think it's 7 or 8 SEC hosts? You think?
Um, I hope they'll go 8. I think they'll probably go 8.
Yeah.
They could
Okay.
go 10. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
realistically, but they won't. I mean,
No.
I don't think. I think Texas and Oklahoma coming in kind of makes it harder on the ones of us in the middle,
Yeah.
because
Absolutely.
Texas obviously is in. Oklahoma's working to get in.
Right.
But comparing resumes with Oklahoma, I just if it came down to even, I would hope our head to head
It should.
win over
Yeah.
them would have us ahead of them.
Right. Right. Oklahoma is 21 in the RPI. Their strength of schedule is 19, so a little bit better than ours. They got 14 losses, so they've lost 3 non-conference games, which obviously on our slate. So we're a little bit better. I have one for you, Griff. I was trying to I lost my train of thought on it, but give me 1 second. Your thought? You think 7 or 8, and I'll think of my question.
Well, apologize for the dog. I think probably 8 at this point for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, Texas has locked up a 1 or 2 or 3. I mean, they're for sure hosting. I mean, there's a bunch of teams that are up there.
Right.
It looks like 8 for now. I mean, chaos may ensue, but I just don't see.
I remember my question. So the other thing, I mean, you see a little bit floating around today. Could 14 of the 16 SEC teams get into regionals? You think? I mean, obviously Carolina and Missouri are off the pace, but the way A&M has played, the way Florida has played, the way that these teams kind of even Kentucky, although they faded lately. I mean, if they make a little run, I mean, you see a scenario where that happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to think that. I mean, that they would keep all of them out. I mean, I know what was it last year. That's how could you ever get more than 12 or 13 in there and then find a way to get them all in? So, I don't think that there's a precedent to keep them out. I mean, those teams have come on well. So, outside of
possible.
the 2 doormats for sure.
Yeah, definitely a possibility. We're seeing projections. I mean, and you get these everywhere. They're fun to kind of look at. But I mean, the one we passed around today, I don't know who's this. Was this a D1? I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, it was
Um,
close.
D1, Clemson is a 10 seed as hosting, and we're the 2 at that regional. In that scenario, there's a Conway, South Carolina regional, by the way. And the Chanticleers would be hosting a NC State, so kind of a reunion of the Jacksonville tournament, and also the Gators in High Point. So there's, a number of scenarios you see out there. They have Auburn hosting a regional as a 6. So they'd be a top 8 national seed, potentially hosting the Super the next week. Southern Miss, Stetson, Bryant. That's a very winnable region if that pans out, but that's what you get if you're 6, right? And then there's also North Carolina. These are all kind of the Southeast types. A Carolina regional with Ole Miss 2nd, Iowa 3rd, and Holy Cross 4th, which in their projection then they're thinking Holy Cross wins the Patriot League tournament, which coming out this weekend starts the Patriot League tournament. The Final 4 in the Patriot League, we got Army at Navy for 2 of 3 series. We've got Holy Cross. I guess Holy Cross is the one hosting Lehigh as the one. So they're kind of going with chalk here. But we'll keep an eye on that one, and hopefully the Mids pull out a weekend and then take out Holy Cross. They might be at Chapel Hill, or maybe they could be somewhere where we are. That'd be a lot of fun. Thoughts on any of those? I mean, you think where's obviously we want to host. If you're going to land as a 2, where do you want to go? I know your answer, Meghan. Drew.
I feel pretty good about wherever we go, because especially if we get that game 1 win with someone besides Riley Quick, and then throw Riley Quick against anybody,
Right.
wouldn't mind seeing us go out west. If they think there's going to be 4, I know it'd be tougher for fans to get out there, but I know
Yeah.
Roger would be there cheering us on. So
Yeah,
I kind of think
I would prefer not to go too west.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think for the team it would be just they'd go out there loose and confident and come out of there with a win. I mean, that's how Auburn got to the World Series a couple years ago.
They went to Oregon State.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think we've got no matter where we are, I think we've got a really good chance. Just got to play well.
Yeah, Meghan, talk about what's the move there where they had the big win over Clemson, biggest crowd they've ever had, 5,000-6,000. I mean, huge.
Yeah, I think it was 5,300 on the email I got this morning.
Yeah.
I was leaving work yesterday. I forgot they were even playing. I was getting home to watch our game, but it's kind of like it's finals week here, and so like campus is dead. I hadn't seen a single person walk out. There's people tailgating in the middle of the parking lot. I was like, oh, okay, things are going on. Talking about that quite honestly, I don't mind that projection to Clemson. As far as that goes, of course, I would love it if they want to send the Tide to Conway if we can't host, because that's 10 minutes down the road for me. But
Sure.
I think that Clemson projection actually looks pretty easily winnable, especially from just like, I mean, Clemson is good, but we play a lot better good teams throughout the whole league.
Right. You were definitely well prepared by our schedule. Roger, we talk about some of the West Coast teams. Oregon State sitting 6 in the RPI. TCU, they're not West Coast, but I mean they're out west a little bit, west of us anyway. UCLA has been on a kind of a heater lately. Potential. We talked a lot about would bringing in the UCLAs and the USCs into the Big Ten help the Big Ten from a baseball standpoint, or hurt those programs from a baseball standpoint. And now you see UCLA kind of vaulted up there. Oregon's hanging in there pretty well. I mean, what do you think impact that's having as we talk about West Coast?
I mean, their baseball out there has been better than the Big Ten's baseball for a long time. So I mean, they're dragging the other teams along here, instead. Unlike football, I mean, they're I think with the exception of Oregon, of course, but historically, UCLA, USC, Arizona State. I mean, that's Oregon State. I mean, those teams have won a lot of national championships between them. Just not as much recently, since there's been so much focus in the SEC, particularly ACC and SEC. But it's a different kind of ball usually. I mean, or it used to be. It might have changed some, but they were always. I think last time UCLA won, hit like 180 in the World Series and won every
And
game
just
2 to
pitch.
1.
Yeah,
Like
just pitch.
a walk, a sack bunt, and a ground ball and a fly out, and then the pitchers, throw a shutout or let
Right.
one run. So a lot different than the old SEC gorilla ball.
Right. As I scroll the RPI right now that I mentioned Southern Cal 16-8 in the Big Ten, Oregon 16-8 in the Big Ten, UCLA 17-7. The traditional Big Ten teams, I mean the 10, the actual 10. Michigan, I think, is the first I see out there at 54 in the RPI. Interestingly, go ahead.
You bring up Michigan. They're actually one of the first teams out according to D1, and the only traditional Big Ten team is actually Iowa. The other three,
USC,
UCLA, and Oregon, the newcomers, they would all be, I think they're probably in. A couple of those probably, UCLA and Oregon probably hosting. But to Roger's point, I mean, it's a different brand of baseball, but those are also schools that are traditionally just been better.
Right, and then on the other side, I mean, the other kind of cross country type things, the Stanford's 9-18 in the ACC. You kind of thought Stanford might, it's a tougher baseball conference, right? But they played well in some weekends, but it's just brutal traveling across country. You would think that's going to be rough. So anyway, there's some options out west, probably better pickings out west, but nobody wants to go out there, right? Someone gets shit down. Cal Irvine is good this year. They're one. Dallas Baptist always good, always a potential host team. Arizona is kind of right up there, but I don't know. You think some of this might artificially inflate the Big Ten, and they might kind of get a token host spot or two that really aren't deserved?
Very possibly. I saw Indiana mentioned somewhere as a possibility. I'm not sure what. I know they've got at least one really good player. That outfielder that we were recruiting, his brother.
Yeah, right. 12-12 in the Big Ten and 74 in the RPI. So, but yeah, not bad. Iowa 21-6 in the Big Ten, but they're only 67 in the RPI. I mean, it's kind of hard to figure out.
It kind of sucks to put those kind of Do you want the most deserving,
right,
or do you want to even it out? Do you want to
strength of schedule.
Do you want to do what football did, or do you want to do it correctly?
Yeah, strength of schedule 152 for them, by the way. So anyway, all that'll shake out. Obviously, 6 more games for most of these conferences to play, but a lot to kind of look ahead and think of. Splits. We talk about splits all the time, and it's we do a little analysis. It's pretty compelling how. Let me use the right word. How drastic our splits are this year, SEC versus overall. Kind of carve out the good teams, as one of our very savantish, statistically addicted friends did and sent to us. You're really seeing. I guess if you just looked at it from a numbers basis, you'd probably ask yourself, how did this team get to 13-11, right? I mean, it's about the only guy hitting above the SEC average against the really good teams is Snell. Everybody else is taking a big dip and affected him a bit. I mean, like we said, he probably your MVP. Even the guy, we believe's, potentially top 5-ish, 1 to 5 pick last year has really struggled split wise. What's with the hitting on this team, and can this team, as it gets into these really competitive games, and I'm not talking about the last 6 of the conference, I'm talking about when you get into these weekends with the in the regionals and such, can this team do enough at the plate to get on a heater and run?
I think so. I mean, things have to come together. We have to have. We can't have Cade carrying it. Justin needs to continue from what he started last night. Richie, for the most part, has been good throughout.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Some of the other guys have been up and down. Hodo can get on a streak at any time, good or bad. I mean, and then it's the other guys. It's the
Staten's hit a couple big
3-run
home runs for us.
It's the Nils and the Mizels and the Fowlers need to contribute consistently. it'd be nice to have 3 or 4 or 5 of them at the same time
Exactly. Exactly.
going. And, we've shown out of the SEC, we're hitting a lot better than we are in the SEC.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. That's
I
true.
mean,
You
there'll
won't
be,
see.
probably possibly better teams, but, Southern Miss and Troy are pretty good teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Right. Right. Griff, if someone's got to go on a heater to carry, help carry this team, who's your pick to click, as Hawk Harrelson used to say.
I mean, I'd like to think Hodo can pick it back up. I mean, he's a guy that's clearly showed he's got the power.
Mhm.
Kind of just going off what Roger said. I mean, it's you think it'd be LeBron and you'd be, your Fowler's guys that proved it, prove that they can still do it, but you just need to obviously have the consistency. I think preseason or pre-SEC season that those guys did it against, sure, it was a lot of non-conference teams that aren't going to be in the field of 64, but Meghan School's going to be there, and NC State's going to be there. So it's, again, teams that are in the mix, but a lot of other teams that I think we could still, I mean, looking at our projected regional, I would feel comfortable hitting against those teams. It's,
Yep.
It's not, it can't be any better than what we've kind of seen outside
Right.
on conference. Sure,
No,
the high end
exactly.
guys are really high end, but
We've seen them all. Yeah.
the depth of the league, as Roger pointed out, the high end of the SEC still is not going to be where a lot of these other non-conference teams are going to be at.
Yeah. Megan, the strikeout rate's got to come down. I mean, like, interestingly, all opponents. Snell's got a 5.7% strikeout rate. You always hear him say he's the toughest guy in the league to strike out. So they got him one time last weekend, but then you go down the list. I mean, and this is even amplified when you kind of carve out the better teams. Hodo 23%, LeBron 22, Richie 16, Torres 32, Mizell, Fowler, Neal 18, 13, 18. I mean, and on down the list. I mean, you can't. You got to get that down in the low teens to be competitive, you think?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you can't get runs if you can't get on base,
Yeah,
and if you're
exactly.
striking out, especially with I think the quality of at bats, because like I mean we're facing good pitchers. Like you're gonna strike out, but I
You
think
are.
it's we've touched on it. It's a lot of non-competitive at bats. Like if you're getting into full counts and you're being able to battle it off, like that's one thing, but that's not what we're seeing. We're just seeing a lot of standing up there or just kind of letting a ball that's like, all right, and it's easy for me to sit here and say like, oh,
Yeah.
just hit the ball. Like
it's only going 98
it's that easy, right?
with
Um,
movement.
But, I know enough about statistics to know those numbers aren't good. And if we want to be able to go anywhere past this point, past the regional, then like you can't sit there and
Yeah.
stare at the ball more than you're making any sort of contact.
Right.
I'm more concerned with the walk rate than the strikeout rate.
Yeah. That's a good point. Good point. It's
I
low.
mean, an out's an out. I mean,
Right.
obviously, a productive out's better than a strikeout, but strikeout's better than a double play, and a walk's better than either one of them. But I mean, because our walk rate in so-called, against good teams is very low.
Yeah. It's very low. Absolutely. I mean, we saw that getting, trains, a good segue to Vandy, the Vandy series. We saw that Friday night. We draw 3 walks that night. We struck out, I don't know, 50 times. Well, no, 11 times that night. We just never got it. It felt like just never really were in that game. Their offense, over the weekend was kind of as advertised, but on this particular night, I think we probably made them better than they should have been. I mean, I don't know how many 16 hit nights that team had
Yeah,
on the year.
not many, because their team batting average was not great, and the individuals other than Nelson, were just run of the mill until Austin just goes off and jacks us up about 30 points in one night.
RJ Austin goes 4 for 5 that night, drives in 4 runs. You get 3, you got a 3 hit night from Brody Johnston. You get 2 hit night from this guy. You got 2 hit night from that guy. And get 16 hits up and down the order. We eked out a whopping 5 hits on this night. We didn't get the 9th inning to bat because we got run ruled. But talk a little bit about it. Somebody, Griff, take this. Tyler Fay, it just, again, just another solid start. He works quickly, pitches to contact, doesn't walk. He didn't walk anybody this night. really a find as a starter, and I think kind of a fixture here the rest of the way out.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I was the doubter a couple weeks ago, saying, "Oh, we shouldn't mess with the pitching order because it's there's no right time, blah blah blah." Listen to me, I mean, he had another stellar outing, so he's definitely JJ's pushed the right button to get Tyler in the right spot, and he proved it. Like you said, he's definitely a starter. I think that's the flip side of that is obviously not being as productive to support him in an outing like that is. That's what was frustrating Friday for sure, because it felt like he did what he needed to do, and us not getting in a rhythm just put everything else out of whack. So.
Yeah. So he goes 5. Heiberger relieves him, gives up a couple hits in an inning. Then it kind of went downhill. And I mean, not knocking the guys, but I mean, the story of the next 3 innings is just everything was hittable, or we were walking guys. Lehman's getting knocked around a little bit, walked a couple of guys last night. So, he's got to get some confidence back. You bring in Buchanan, who looked better last night, but got, hit pretty hard this night. Brian's, you gotta get those guys work, because Drew, I mean, you really want them to, you got to test them. You got to give them opportunities, and hopefully they can, hold a team where they are, but it's just didn't happen with him and VZ there at the end. But I mean, it's you got to do that, right? I mean, you can't.
Yeah, I think when we put in Lehman, we were down 3-0 and had not touched their starter, who just pitched. I thought that was probably the best game thrown against us this year.
Yeah, JD Thompson.
Sometimes you just kind of have to just tip your cap to the other guy, but we obviously could have done better. Wish we had, but it's. Got pitched really well, and he is not the first time he's pitched really well. He's been on like that lately. So, yeah, Lehman seems more in this. He seems more like he's kind of like the lefty to face one guy out of the pen type, as opposed to starting an inning. Did okay with that against State and LSU. Buchanan, I can't not really sure. He's done better. In some of these when you're up 10-1 or down 5-2, trying to get us back in, and then Brian's and VZ can throw it mid-90s, just can't get it over the plate. And I know we brought in Brian's to be a key weekend guy, and just it's unfortunate it hasn't really come together for him. But it's I think we thought we'd be a little better on the mound with one or two of those guys being able to throw strikes.
But Roger, you were there, but I mean, again, you didn't by what happened late in this game. You didn't cost yourself anything on the weekend. You just saw a couple guys go out there.
I mean, it was pretty much once it was 3-0, it was basically over. It felt like 20-0. And Fay had those 5 really good clean innings, and he did pitch the first 3 batters in the 6th, and had the infield single, and then he gave up 3 hits and ended up costing him a couple of runs on his ledger, but or 3 runs, I guess, actually.
3, he got 3.
He pitched way better than allowing 3 runs. I mean, it's like it's 0-0 after the 5th. Do you second guess? Do you say, hey, we got a chance because we're going to eventually get their guy out? Hopefully, he's not going to throw a complete game. He may have had they not gone ahead like they did, because they just brought that Green guy in
just through the 1 inning,
and let him go, even though he had 4 base runners real quickly off of him. But if say in the 6th you bring in Braylon, which I mean, it's a balancing act. Like, okay, can we win this game, or do we need him to back in with Riley and Oz and win that game? So it's not an easy choice, not one I would really want to make.
I think your pitching coach. I mean, I think Rob and JJ, they know the feel of these games. I mean, the coaches never goes, "Oh man, we're done in this one," but they gotta sense it. Like you're saying, I didn't feel like we were going to hit JD Thompson. He could throw 15 innings. I don't think we would have hit that guy. He goes 7 innings. We get 2 hits. He walks 2 guys, strikes out 11. I think they get a feel for it, but they've got to strategize the whole weekend.
Right.
Unlike the Twitter geniuses who, just want to fire the pitching coach after a game like
that. Some people don't understand that.
Yeah.
And like the gentleman that sits behind me at home games is one of them. And then our favorite dwarf is one of the other ones. But I mean, it's like, because my guy at home, first inning every game he wanted GMAC pulled out because he was giving up 2 or 3 runs. It's like
Right.
it's
And he
Friday
shoved
night.
7
We
innings.
gotta play 27 innings.
Yeah.
And he also will go 6 and not give up anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. He
And
settles
it's
in.
like, it's like, so you want to sacrifice the whole rest of the weekend because he's having a bad first inning. Ooh.
Right.
Um,
Right. Roger's battling a bad toothache. So that's
Yeah.
why he's, he didn't get punched or anything. But all right. So let's flush that. Here's the thing. I think about this team. What I love about this team is kind of the focus, the resiliency, how tough they are. They didn't show up tough on Friday night, but the fact that you show back up on Saturday, loaded for bear, and took that game by the cojones and just took it. The fact that you show up every Tuesday night, every Wednesday afternoon in 35-degree weather, the fact that you don't lay an egg in 13 of those games all year, the fact that you pop back from a 10-0, whatever it was, deficit to Ohio State. So I think Saturday was kind of the trademark of this team, Griff.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, when the pieces are put together across the board, it's hard to think that there's a lot of other teams in the country that'll beat us when we are truly playing at our best. Now, that's obviously not been as consistent as I think we would all have liked to see so far up to this point. But again, it's, you have your ace going Saturday, the lineup figures it out, it's getting enough to, muster runs across the plate, and then you trust the guys that you've got throwing behind your starter. I mean, that's the recipe for success. And yeah, again, to Roger's point, there's going to be people that want to take somebody out as soon as they give up a run. I mean, hell, that's basically MLB at this point. Is that you give up a run or
exactly.
He gets yanked, but I mean, I'll give credit to JJ that these guys have to weather the storm. To Roger's point, if they're going Friday or if they're going Saturday, that the team still has somewhere between 16 and 26 innings to throw the rest of the weekend. We can't just be yanking guys after the first run for the other guys across the board. And Riley, I think, has been, as much as obviously Cade is the offensive MVP, Riley and Oz have been stellar out of the bullpen.
Right. 96 pitches. He goes 6 full. Did he go into the 7th? Maybe Braylon. No.
He walked the first guy in the 7th.
Walked the first guy. That's right. Yeah. So he goes 6 innings, 4 hits, strikes out 9, walks 2. Excellent control. Didn't hit anybody. Got called for kind of a bullshit balk that brought in a run. He's kind of established himself. I mean, he's, anybody that throws 96, 97, 98 consistently like that's kind of your alpha. But I mean, he's got a little finesse too, right, Megan? I mean, he's a pitcher, man. He's a tactician out there.
I mean, I didn't get to watch anything on Saturday's game, and I think I'm really disappointed on that fact of
You'll love this. Yeah.
just a complete show from Riley Quick. I mean, seeing everything posted on Twitter, and that I appreciate enough of being able to see that. But just one, I don't know if there's enough words to the kind of just guy Riley Quick is for our team, both as a pitcher and a player, but also just kind of as a person, what he brings to the whole of the team too.
Yeah,
I mean, he's full Gump all the way. I mean, he's one of the Alabama guys that it means everything to. And not that other guys don't come in from other parts of the country and get it, but I mean, it's ingrained in him from birth.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to have some of those guys.
You do, yeah, absolutely, yep. 15 months since getting the badge of honor on the elbow. He goes 96 pitches. I mean, they've inched him up a little bit every week, Drew. Enough about him. I mean, we can spend 2 hours talking about him. And then the job of the bullpen on this day with Myers and Osmer just with shutdown innings on the back end.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought, but yeah, Myers and Oz were really good. I mean, we went to Oz, I believe, to start the 8th, and that was I think the 8th inning was three strikeouts.
The 9th was.
The 9th was.
The 8th was like 3 pretty quick outs.
Ground ball, pop up.
Yeah. So Osmer was great Saturday. I could have said more about what I would say about Riley is that we're really, I think, going to see the best of him the last few weeks of the season, and then he's going to hopefully get drafted high and go play
make much
many
money.
years. Yeah, but
Absolutely. Yeah.
just got to really, I think on our end as fans, what we need to do is really uh, relish what we're going to see out of Riley.
Mhm.
Don't take it for granted because you don't really get pitchers like that come around here
No,
all too often.
no, we have one that came around and kind of flamed out after really 4 outings, right? I mean, it's been great that he's been able to come back and be what that we thought that guy was going to be,
Yeah,
right? What I'm talking about.
yeah,
But
without
yeah,
saying his name.
yeah. Shout out in that game too. The homer by Coleman Mizell in the fifth, 3-run shot to left field over the big wall over there.
No, solo, let off.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. He hit the solo. Yeah, and then Staten got the double, drove in a run. Rose, we kind of eked out some of the others, but yeah, I'm sorry, but it wasn't a three. I'm thinking of the Staten one on
Right,
Sunday.
on Sunday.
That to me was big because it felt like we after the Friday night game, offensively we still our head just still wasn't there. We're 5 innings into this game, we got 1 run. And then he pulls that off, and that was a big lift for that team, I thought.
It really was. That was, I mean, seeing him go off, and it just baffles me every time these teams come out and shift him.
It shifted.
Shift,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, but I mean, his power, for the most part, his oppo. I mean, he can pull it, obviously, but
Mhm.
I mean, his whole life has gone. Most of his home runs growing up were opposite field, and
Just
he just missed that second one by a couple of feet right off the
Yeah.
top of the wall.
Yeah, strong as an ox. I mean, just that to me was a big spark on this particular day. Again, 8-hit effort, another pretty good outing by the Vandy. I mean, they used a mix of guys that day. Didn't have anybody. But again, 13 strikeouts. It's draw 3 walks, strike out 13 times. It's just That's why you're not blowing teams like this out, right, Griff?
Yeah, I mean I know a couple weeks ago I thought, and obviously at points throughout this weekend, I thought it was a very winnable series, and
Yeah.
having Coleman take that solo shot, starts the hit parade, which I think is, a catalyst, is, good hitting
Yeah.
and leads to more good hitting and just good at bats in general. I mean, I look at a guy like LeBron. Sure, he didn't get any hits this weekend, but he gets 2 walks, he gets on base, and he scores. I mean,
And he
that's
scores
and
runs.
to Rogers' credit, if we can get the walk rate back up to where it was, heading into the SEC, I think we were either second or third. I know we were top 3, 4 in the league heading into conference play. If we can get back to that, we don't have to be perfect, but we need to be able to put more than 2 guys on base throughout, a Saturday
Yeah.
or a Sunday to give ourselves a fighting chance to, again, pass the bat and let somebody else knock it in and feel like we can put the pitcher on their heels.
Yeah, yeah. We strike out 14 of their batters. All right, let's set up Sunday. Riley, obviously, done. I mean, pitching staff, you should be pretty good shape going into Sunday. Braylon threw 17 pitches. Braylon has shown an ability to go multiple days or multiple times in a weekend, much like Tyler Fay when he was relieving. We had not seen Hosmer go back-to-back games. Okay, keep that. Put that in the parking lot, as they say in consultant speak. He goes 2 innings. He did it in 23 pitches. All right, so but again, you got to get lathered up, warmed up. I don't know what they throw in the bullpen to get ready. Let's say it's 25 pitches to get ready. You go through a couple of warm up in, 8 and 5, and you throw 23. So I mean, it's a pretty good workout to go 2 innings on a Saturday. Your availability the next day is probably a little bit in question. Maybe you bring in a guy, you get him an inning, you get an out or whatever, but keep that, because then we go to Sunday. All right. Everything until about, I don't know, probably what time the game start, 3. Everything probably till about 5:30 p.m. Before you heard the TikTok of the 60 minutes going off. We all felt a lot better. And then everything just kind of went to hell. Let's talk about what kind of led to that, though, right? Roger, just kind of recap that game up until the 8th inning.
Okay, well, we got Zane going against Fennell, who is really, really high strikeout guy, and Nelson gets Riley for a home run solo in the top of the first. I mean, the bottom of the first.
Right.
But he shrugged that off and starts throwing some zeros, and then but they get another run in the third after a one out walk, and a couple of singles.
Mhm.
So down 2-0, go in the fourth. We get 2 walks, and Staten cranks that 2-out home run that you were speaking of to give us a 3-2
Yeah.
lead. And you're like, okay, we're good.
On
Riley
top
goes,
of on top of, as I called it, decrepit ass
yeah,
benches on the baseline Memorial Gym.
place is awful. Every one of their facilities is terrible. So then Riley, shuts down 4th and 5th. We come out in the 6th and have another big inning helped by a walk again. And then Hodo hits his bomb. And then with 2 out, we get Brady singles, Torres gets hit, Bull Mizell singles one in, and Fowler singles one in. And this was the key point right there.
Right.
Mizell tried to go first to third on that and gets hosed at third base to end the inning.
Third out.
And Bronny would have been up with 2 on.
Yeah.
Not been hitting. He'd had a good offensive day the day before, even though without any hits. But
but a much less less pressure situation. You maybe be a little more loose up there, right? I mean, if you don't, you got 7-2 lead, and you got to hit great. If you don't, or you just
Yeah, and then Riley. Zane. I keep saying Riley. I'm sorry, Zane. Zane gets through the 5th and the 6th.
Yep.
And we bring him out for 104 pitches. And, offensively, we did that thing where we scored in bunches in 2 innings and nothing the rest of the time.
And nothing else. Yep, you're right. Yep.
Banks takes the 7th. Nothing but the error where Staten slipped.
Yeah.
And then
we won't say what I said in the text.
Right. We don't do anything in the 8th. And then they bring Hagen back out. 2 quick pop-ups.
Yeah.
We're looking good. It's starting to rain again. And Vandy looked like they had quit.
Yeah, they really did. Really did. They had no life whatsoever.
But the Holcomb kid just cranks one, just gets over Bryce's glove and right. Then this is where some shenanigans came up. Yeah. More so than earlier. 3-2 count. Well, before the 3-2 count, 2-2 count.
2-2.
Banks has the kid struck out. Perfect pitch.
Yeah.
Calls it a ball, ends up walking him. Next guy comes up, same situation. Strike 3, punch him out. Nope. Gives him another chance. 2-run homer.
Right.
So all of a sudden it's 7-5.
Yeah.
So bring Hagen out, who has in essence gotten 4 outs, but giving up 3 runs. But
and the problem in the strike calls. So these were low strikes, but they were low into the zone, which had been being given pretty much all day, especially on the breaking balls low. Right.
But,
these weren't like that shoe top BS they called against LeBron and LSU. I mean, these were legitimately knee to a couple inches below the knee, but had been there all day long.
But then you go back to the 7th real quick. LeBron gets called out on one.
Yes,
y'all seen the video
outside. Yeah. A full 2 or 3 balls off the plate. Yeah.
And then Cade Snell, who we already know has a 5% strikeout rate. I don't think he's struck out looking all year. He takes a 2-2 pitch on the ankles, literally on the ankles.
Yeah.
And they call it strike 3.
Mm-hmm.
So then they bring Heiberger comes in, throws 3 pitches, strikes out Bastine. All right, we're looking good. We're up.
Right. We're up 7-5. Yeah.
Let's get some insurance. Fowler doubles. Snell walks. Richie smokes the ball down the third base line that the guy turns into a double play. We get those runs there. I think they do.
Yeah, maybe they do.
I think they kind of like, okay, this is it. And then Oz comes in.
It just went
little blooper to left that we all think should have been caught
by somebody.
Yeah, and then the next pitch he hits the guy in the back. Okay, no runner on base. He probably doesn't hit the runner, I don't think.
No, yeah.
Austin gets down the sack. Great play by Brady to throw him out at first. Comebacker to the mound. Big play. Oz fumbles it, recovers, and throws out. The runner on second is all the way at third. The runner at third never moved. we have him out by 85 feet, but
Nobody's at second.
Nobody's at second base
because we had shifted
right,
but just nobody got back over there.
And it is wet, so that throw from that angle from first to second, could be made,
proposition.
Right.
We've seen that throw go to the left field wall a couple of times this year.
Right. And then the Johnston kid slaps that double in the gap, ties it up.
Mm-hmm.
We still just need one out to go to extra innings, and 1-2 pitch, and that Holcomb dude hits it over the center. I mean, Richie made a leap for it, but it was
long ago. Yeah. So let me talk about two things in that game, because I mean, you recapped it great. Zane Adams. I mean, again, another great Zane Adams performance. I mean, we keep throwing bouquets at Riley. What Zane has done after a couple of rough outings and just adjusting I mean, all these games are important. It doesn't matter which one you start, right? I mean, these are SEC games. Talk a little bit about the outing for Zane.
Yeah, I thought he was really good. He probably made like 2 mistakes, and those were those 2 pitches to Riley Nelson, one being a home run, then I think the other one was an RBI hit. But I mean, you can't ask for much more than what he did. Just giving up the 2 runs through 6 innings, able to go more than 100 pitches. I think he had one rough inning, maybe the 3rd inning, where he threw like almost 30 pitches.
30, he threw 34 in the 3rd, and then he came back with 8 pitch and a 10 pitch.
And they only got 1 run in that inning.
Right,
so he was able to pitch out of a jam in that one. So he's given us what we need, and he's I mean, I think all of our starters right now are giving us what we need. We just have to help them otherwise.
Right, which makes us a very dangerous team, I think.
Yeah.
In a region, whether we're hosting it or we're playing on the road. I mean, you can throw those 3 guys out there. They can get these 3, Griff, are getting you 6 innings most night, 5 to 6 innings. I mean, and with the bullpen we've got, although it didn't hold up on Sunday, I mean, that makes you a pretty dangerous team.
Yeah, I mean, the bullpen, our starters, the guys coming out. I mean, it's the Nick Saban line of do your job. They're doing their job. I mean, they're actually putting us in a position to win. So it's as we've said, years when we were doing spaces, now we're here. We always said, got to have the bullpen to carry us, and they're doing their jobs. And the offense at their peak, we've seen them been able to hit with just about everybody in the country. So it's the offense figures it out, whether it's the last 2 weeks of the season, we figure it out in Hoover and win 3 games or something.
2 or 3 games.
We get rolling into a regional. I wouldn't want to face us, but we have to get back to that. I mean, there's still questions to be answered, I think.
Well, we've got overall, if you look at it, we've 4 bullpen arms that we've been able to taken Faye out of them. I mean, Braylon, Hagan, Maddie, and Osmer have been the most consistent. Obviously Myers, Braylon's been unbelievable really unbelievable this year. Right. Osmer, 1 bad game out of 20. 20. And Heiberger's, I think, could have been used. At times we bring him out a lot earlier than. Right. I mean, they know what they're looking for from him, and it's it's working out. And then we get Morris like he was last night, and which he's had a few of those. He's had a few outings like that. He's another guy that some of the other guys we run into, they're going to give up the long ball. They can't. They're not going to throw consistent strikes. Finiterry's bulldog. I mean, he'll go out there and give you innings. He'll battle and give you innings. And
JT same way.
same way. Bobby's kind of. I guess we've kind of lost Bobby for the time being. Haven't seen him lately. So I had numbers on the starters. The combined for 17 innings. 16 hits, 4 walks. 19 strikeouts and 7 runs. Which a lot of those were runs let in by.
Yeah, you should win 2 or 3 in a series if you give me that every weekend. I'm going to win 2 out of 3 most weekends.
Yeah,
I mean that's what we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Is that going to LSU? Hey, we can get 15, 16, 17 innings. That should be a recipe to win.
Exactly.
2 or 3. So on paper, it makes a lot of sense.
And then,
all right, so let's.
Go ahead. Real quick on the bullpen on Saturday. They went 3 innings. no hits, no walks, no runs, 5 strikeouts.
Strikeouts, yeah.
The other 2 games combined 5.1 innings, 14 hits, 6 walks, 10 strikeouts,
Exactly. Yeah.
16 runs.
Yeah. So and again, we can kind of discount Friday because of just getting guys work or whatever, but
Right.
we can't really discount Sunday. All right. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, because I mean, obviously I ran it and raved and didn't sleep Sunday night. All right, let's pitching decisions in this game. Zane gives you 6, Banks gives you a great 7th. Getting a little iffy if you go one more with him, but I mean he had done it on a quick work. Like you said, I mean he kind of gets screwed on some umpire calls, and I mean that really probably made the difference because he really should have been out of that inning.
Right, he should have been out of it 2 different times.
Right. So I can question. All right, why would you not just get? Why did Braylon Myers never touch the mound in this game? Why did he never touch the mound? Why? All right, and then Heiberger goes out there to get the 3rd out of the 8th, makes a guy look like an absolute fool. Another lefty, he's lefty and lefty, makes him look like a fool. You got lefty coming up leading off the night. You got switch hitter coming up, who is, when he was turned around right-handed when Zane was throwing to him, earlier in the game, had kind of been handcuffed a good bit of the game. I don't know what the guy's splits are, and I mean maybe that might have had something to do with it. Why don't you stay with Heiberger, knowing Osmer has not thrown 2 games in a row, threw 20-ish pitches yesterday and all the warm-up and whatever? Meghan, convince me that we didn't kind of derp that up. And then, I mean, and again, and the other, I'm sorry. Well, go ahead. I'll shut up.
Say, I mean, to that point, Paul, I don't know if I can convince you of that.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly there's got to be something, I would assume, in the analytics that said, let's go to that. Or maybe just this mindset of like, well, Oz has been the guy all year. Why are we not going to give him that chance now when he's been proven over and over and over to be that guy? But at the same time, like, to every point you just made, I don't think it makes a lick of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you've got Oz available, right? I mean, if you've got him, he's told you, okay, I'm good to go. One way or the other, he's good to go. I don't buy the whole, I got to bring my closer in at the start of an inning. I just don't buy that. I mean, maybe at home when he gets to, come into his theme music or whatever, Kenny Powers riding in on a bull in Mexico. But you're on the road. I mean, you're not getting that anyway. So why not let Matty Drew? Why not let Matty get the lefty, get the switch hitter? Because I mean, one way or the other, he's going to switch up. And I suspect that guy probably is not as good a righty hitter as he was a lefty, because he's going to mostly see righties. Why not stick with Heiberger and bring in Osmer after that?
Or Braylon. I mean, if you don't stick with, if you don't stick,
Braylon Myers never touched the mound.
If you don't stay with Matt.
Yeah.
I mean, what I was telling people in the stands is like, Banks did the 7th, Braylon 8th, Osmer 9th. And if Braylon gets on one of his rolls where he strikes out the 3 guys in a row, bring him back out for the 9th. And if a guy gets on and you feel like you need to go to Oz, go to Oz.
Right.
But, I mean, you can Monday morning quarterback and back speed drive.
I'm Wednesday night quarterbacking still.
It's, and even with all that, we still had a chance to get out of it.
It's still, but
7-5 win.
Yeah. And again, I mean, the way Heiberger just made their I don't even know. I have to go back and look who it was. Is the lefty that struck out.
Best time.
I mean, the guy looked like a fool. I mean, he had the movement on the ball. He threw the strike the guy out. It's just ridiculous. And you got a lefty coming up to lead off. I mean, Drew, why go away from your lefty there?
Yeah, I don't know. I think too many pitching coaches got to pad their resumes by getting closer stats, saves, and stats. But the thing is, though, we've been very consistent all year long at bringing Osmer in to start the 9th in a save situation. I personally don't care how many saves he has. I just want to win the game. But I would have probably liked to have seen him put Heiberger out there again to start the 9th, and first sign of trouble, maybe you bring in Osmer. But if he only threw 23 or whatever pitches, I'm sure he was fine. I mean, you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's fine, but it's but he hadn't thrown 2 days in a row all year.
Yeah, and I think that goes a lot different if that first fly ball is caught. We'll just never know. But but he kind of did his job to give that up, and then maybe he doesn't plunk the next guy and this and
Right.
that.
No, I
But
don't think
Exactly.
he hits the next guy if that's the
Yeah.
case.
yeah, I just I don't know. I'm glad that uh, he's on our team and all that, but I'm also glad we have no more midweek games, so we can use a
Yeah.
couple more of those guys. Maybe Blackwood
Yeah.
and Finatary can uh, be options out of the bullpen for us. I know
All right.
Blackwood's been hit hard a couple times
Yeah.
the last couple SEC games, but maybe we can change that up a little
Well,
bit.
I mean, and hopefully the starters keep going 5, 6, 7 innings, and it cuts down on what
And it narrows your pin down. Yeah, yeah. Griff, give me a take on this because I appreciate you letting me get this off my chest, but I don't feel any damn better about it.
It's weekly Joe therapy night. It's okay. We've all been there at one point throughout the season. I mean, yeah, to Drew's point, one thing leads to another. We could play what ifs, but we could also be Arkansas fans and upset that we lost the national championship off a foul ball. We're not going there, but I did. Sorry to the Arkansas fans that are listening, but I think having conclusion of the midweek games, we're saying our Hail Marys because that's over with, and we can hopefully save those guys for the pen that we need them to come out. To Roger's point of Monday morning, Wednesday evening quarterbacking. Part of me also thinks, okay, it's a high leverage situation, and we're in a regional. We're gonna need Carson to probably go twice. I mean, that's a
Right.
real
Yeah,
possibility.
you absolutely will. Yeah.
So I'm thinking of it at the other side too. Of okay, you're in a position we need you. It didn't work out. That's baseball. I mean, there's going to just be days that it does for whatever reason doesn't go your way. But I think it's hopefully a lesson, obviously, to say, hey, it's it can work out. There's obviously a lot of other factors that went into what happened, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, we're going to need all these guys down the stretch. And to Drew's point, hopefully JT and Aiden and the guys that were running and had been running throughout the midweeks, just more ammo to the cavalry. So
Well, and then getting the SEC tournament going to run, you need 5 starters.
yep, exactly.
So we've got
Yeah.
3. I don't know if it was. I was talking to somebody about how many starters we'd use. Was that us last night, Paul?
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah. Yeah.
Like 6. I mean, basically, 6 guys have started a significant
Exactly,
number of games.
Mhm.
Bobby, Finatary, and JT,
Right.
along with the three that are going right now. So,
Mhm.
that's fairly deep. Obviously, there's some drop off. I mean,
Right.
of course there would be, but they've got the experience. They wouldn't be going out there for the first time like some of the guys
No.
like Jim Wells, Drew, back in the day. The guy comes out, hadn't pitched 3 innings all year, and he throws a 9-inning shutout in the SEC tournament.
158 pitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not expecting Jack Ketchum to give us 8 in Sunday's final against Arkansas, but we'll take it if it happens.
Yeah, maybe you get a Bobby Alcock outing like the Furtado
Right.
outing in 23.
Mike Ozypok against LSU
Yeah.
in whatever year that was.
Yeah,
13, I think.
Yeah,
I think it was 13.
Yeah, that season. I mean, he went forever. And hadn't pitched much all year. They went just a little bit too long with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to questions. Like I said, I can't change what happened on Sunday as much as I would like to.
I'm just glad we moved it to Wednesday because
that's right. I could not.
I didn't think Monday would have been good for.
I
Paul,
could not have done this Monday night. I don't think so. Yep. All right, let me get. I got a bunch of good questions, and I just got them about 5 different sources. So here's one. Excuse me. From where'd it go? Okay, here we go. From Mark Mizell. You may recognize that name. He has a question. Will you ask Roger if he would like to see an upgrade at the Joe with a full carpeted field?
So Mark and Suzanne and I sat together all weekend, and he heard my tirade on carpet fields. And then he was texting me last night about damn, don't let him slide into second base anymore.
I got that text last night, 7:20 p.m., probably 8 seconds after LeBron slid in, and then guy came out hurt. So I knew you'd appreciate that. All right, here's another one for another name you might recognize. John Young Sr., some relation to John Young Jr. Sitting here right this second, would you rather host a regional with Texas A&M or Florida in it, or be put in an ACC/Big Ten host regional?
Ooh, that's
There
a
you
good
go.
question. I'm taking hosting all day though.
Mhm.
Um, and maybe, Florida. I mean, of course, we're going down there to play them right now, so that would
Right.
be a big turnaround. But the A&M's probably not somebody you want to play at the moment,
Yeah. No. Or Florida again.
or Florida. But Florida got boat race last night
Right.
by somebody, USF or somebody like
USF, South Florida. Yeah.
that.
I'm
It might
probably
be
leaning
easier. It might be easier to win the ACC one. I
It could
mean,
be, but you might be that might be Florida State or it might be
right,
Clemson.
right. I would.
It'd be a
Well,
good team.
it would be Florida State because that's
Yeah.
the only place we go.
Yeah.
I would take home regionally every
Yeah.
day.
I think Griff, my thought, home, you got to take the region. You got to host.
If you're at home, I mean, I'm not passing up a chance for some Joe magic for sure. But
Yeah.
in the world, let's just play alternate reality. If we go to Clemson right now, and as we said, the D1 projections, I would feel comfortable there for sure. But I mean, I would take Florida at home. A&M's putting it together, and I'm glad we got our 3 when we did.
Right. There's nothing like hosting. That was a blast. I mean, 23.
That's part of it too. It's great for the school, great for the program, great for the city,
It was
and a lot of fun for us.
it ends at 1 a.m, 3 nights in a row or
That's
2.
right.
It was. I've never been more exhausted. I didn't play any. Tyler Wilcox at Johnny MySpace, who was featured
right.
on the Weekly Joe Extra with the right field Rangers. Big fan, and did a great job, by the way. But all those guys did.
They did.
Will we ever lose to Troy again, Drew?
No.
I agree.
No.
Yep.
I mean,
Meghan?
if they were going to beat us, they would have beaten us in
Yep.
that regional 2 years ago. That was their easiest chance.
Yes.
Now we
Exactly.
did blow a 5-run lead in that 2013 regional in that losers bracket game, but we weren't going to win that regional anyway. That would have just got us one more game.
Yeah.
But in the 06 regional, Alabama won. It would have been considered a heartbreaker for Troy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, once Tremaine Cobb threw that ball away on that Tommy Seidel routine grounder, and we went from down 1 to up 1, and then Pinckney's hitting a triple to the wall, Temez with a single. I'm like, they're never going to beat us again.
No, never again. Anybody think otherwise? We ever going to lose to Troy again? I mean, 20, 24, 38, whatever that year might be.
Maybe when Wyatt Vaughn is the takes over for his dad in about 30 years. If college baseball is still a thing.
If it's still a thing, yep. All right. Here's a good one. Betty Wright, or Beth W is right. At Beth W is right. How will our pitching rotation work once we start the SEC tournament and postseason? What she says, it feels like there's a need to start to move our top 2 arms up to allow them the ability to pitch in the tournament. Keeping Adams on Sunday almost guarantees he can't be used. Right. Y'all address this because obviously the last week of the season helps you in that regard, right? With the Thursday starts.
Yeah, but then you got to come out Tuesday and play. The thing to do is avoid playing on Tuesday.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about the SEC tournament format because she's obviously on it in the she's one of our more knowledgeable listeners, and some of the adults out there don't get this. You're playing a 16-team tournament. You're going to go first 8 play Tuesday. So this is the bottom 8, which we could be in. I think we're right now we wouldn't be because I think we're kind of in a tie for 5th or whatever. Bottom 8 play, you get 4 knocked out. So the 4 winners go to Wednesday, play the next 4. So that's going to be teams 5 through 8 in seeding. So if it all shook out right now, that's probably where we'd be in the 5 through 8, right? Now we got a tough road to hoe. So your first game is probably Wednesday. Your last game's Saturday. So your guy that goes on Saturday really needs till Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, probably till Friday. So like the first you'd probably see Zane is maybe Friday.
Yeah.
You probably can't go with Riley till Thursday. I mean, really what you got to get through is that Wednesday opener, right?
Right. And if you just hope, I mean, and you can't give away any of the, you can't give away any of the six we have left. We're not in a
Right.
position to do
No,
that.
no,
I
no.
mean,
We can go 0-6 in these and be playing Tuesday, and then we're just
I mean,
screwed
if
anyway.
we were 19-6 or, or 19, whatever, 19 and
Yeah.
5,
Five.
like Texas, you're hosting,
Right.
okay, we can play with it a little bit, but I mean, we got to do it. It's like when you play in a tournament, tomorrow's not guaranteed. We got to do whatever we
Right.
got to do to win today.
Yeah.
Whether
Exactly.
whoever that's using it, everybody you got or whatever. So that's going to be
The key at some point in the tournament like that, you got to get a good long outing from a starter at some point. Whether it's the
yes.
first game, you can go bullpen first game. You better get a damn good starting outing from your second game. You better chew up some innings.
And it's not like trying to plan a series like, okay, Friday we're behind, we're gonna give it away. It's like you're done on Friday, you're done, or
You're
whatever
done.
day.
Right.
First game, you one and done is not conducive to not using all your bullets.
Yeah, but Drew, for Beth, okay, if I go my last weekend series, I got Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I go Faye, Riley, Adams. Then I start back up on Wednesday. Really, all I'm doing at that point, I mean, I could go Faye on Wednesday because it's kind of like a weekend where you play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you have to turn around and play Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yes.
It's not that much different, right?
Yeah, I hope if we're starting on Tuesday, we just throw like Blackwood, and if we lose that game, so be it. But if it's a Wednesday start, then you can look at just kind of. I think if you're playing on Wednesday, that means I have to look at the bracket. Then you're not going to play any more than 4 games. So then that way you could essentially pitch your top guys again. You can go Faye, Riley, Zane, and then if you somehow make it to Sunday, then you just pitch with what's left. So that's what I'm hoping for, that we don't start until Wednesday. And if we do pitch Tuesday, I didn't like how we did last year going for own so soon after that Thursday outing. But Tyler Ross did it fine a few
Yeah,
years
exactly.
back, so I'm probably just overreacting there, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Because
All right, couple more.
last year too.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I agree. It was just funky last year. You play, we throw Greg right, we turn around and throw Greg right back out there, and it wasn't his
Which
day.
I didn't
So,
understand.
hopefully, to your point, we can avoid that. We can just get to Wednesday and figure it out from there. But yeah, playing Tuesday is, I mean, you look at all
Tuesday's
the
brutal.
teams that ever played Tuesday night in, Nashville for the SEC basketball tournaments. Odds are they're probably not going to make it to
You're not
Saturday.
gonna make it Friday, yeah.
It's probably
And that last year, Ferrone was already looking to he was wearing down toward the end of the year. I think. I mean, because his outings were getting shorter and he wasn't as sharp and wasn't as effective. So that really would have been a good time to to move. But we still got in a regional and
exactly
didn't do anything in it. But I mean, we made one. So.
Yeah. All right. Last two. These are pretty quick. Charles Branch, Crimson crossover extraordinaire on the basketball front, but obviously a big follower of the baseball program. If we stay away from SEC teams, are we a lock for Omaha? Talking about the non-conference in midweek.
Not a lock, but we'd have a really good chance.
Yeah. That's kind of rhetorical there. Also asked, does the baseball program have a little bit of a similar problem to what the basketball program struggled with for years before Nate Oates arrived? And that is and then again, go back to Sunday, you get leads against big competition. You're a little bit unable to hold on and close them. You kind of got to learn how to win, right? I mean, it's almost a cultural thing. And he's got some more there, but talk about that. What, Meghan, at some point a team figures out how to win and knows how to work around and close that game despite the adversity. Just thoughts here. It's not really a question, but thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, I think yes. I think to some extent it's very hard to compare it to like basketball in that sense of just like baseball's a long season, and I think you can always say, oh, there's going to be games you should have won, but then it's also like, well, it's not 2 o'clock. It's not to everything. It's 27 outs, and can you get those hits at the right time? I think there's a lot more luck involved in baseball than maybe in other sports that come into play. But I think it is also, we can't have, to go back to the point I think I've said already this episode, but like we can't have this idea of like these bad at bats, these bad strikeouts, and expect to win games. And I don't know if that's necessarily like what we're seeing. It's not an expectation to win by any means, but like I don't think we're helping ourselves in any regard right now either.
Right. Culturally, Griffin. I mean, I'm calling it culture. I mean, I think the team's got a great culture, but I mean, and I don't think Charles is saying that. I'm just saying, is at some point there's a learn how to about winning at this level.
Yeah, I would agree with Megan on points that, it's every sport's apples and oranges. It's so hard to say. I mean, obviously, thinking of baseball, you're going to have way more guys leaving. It's going to be a lot of the time you're going to have a lot of new starters, pitching staff for sure. I mean, this year, looking at just how many guys we turned over, just looking at the lineup from starters from last year versus who we had come in this year, it's a whole new group of guys.
Yeah, tough to do every year.
Up to this point, I feel like to an extent they figured that out a little bit. I mean, it's only this, we're only so far into the Rob Vaughn era, but I mean, they're starting to, I think, understand the philosophy of what, the ownership, toughness, and grit that he has brought to the program, and it's starting to click for those guys. I mean, I'd love to have, somebody step in like a, Mark Sears who can stay for, have a Riley Quick stay for 5 years.
Right. Yeah. Riley Quick, he's coming back next year. That'd be great,
Yeah, I mean, I'd love that, but I think realistically that's the pipe dream. So it'll get there, but it's to Megan's point, it's a long season, and I love the thought of basketball. We can just shoot our way out of it, and we'll they'll start hitting threes, and I'd love for us to say, oh, we just keep swinging, we'll start hitting homers. Right. Realistically, it's just not, unfortunately, how it rolls, but we're getting there for sure.
I think we have some of that already, Paul. I mean, you've even mentioned like you get blown out on Friday, and how many times?
Right,
I mean, like 2 straight weeks, and then this past week, and we bounced back and went on Saturday. Now having Riley in that slot helps out the situation a lot. But I mean, they seem to flush the bad ones, and they don't let one loss turn into 2 or 3 because I mean, how many losing streaks have we had? I mean,
I was about to say, not many. I mean,
nothing over 2. I don't think.
Yeah, because you're not losing midweek, and you haven't been swept. So
we haven't been swept. So
nothing over 2, right?
And we only have 12 losses. So 37. We have a real chance to have the first 40-win regular season since 2002, I believe it is.
Wow. Good Lord.
But I mean, 2023 we went over 40, but you had some tournament wins.
Extra,
and same thing. I was looking back through the media guide, and there was years we didn't even win 40 games, much less in the regular season, of course. And then look back, and even 2006 we were at 39 going into the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
So I mean, we already had tied the longest winning streak to start the year. We're about to go to a regional for 3rd straight year. I mean, we're doing some things.
Doing good things.
Doing some good things. And, and you've mentioned several times building the culture, and that Rob has just the feel of the program.
Yeah.
And with former players and with fans and with everybody involved, that it feels like we're definitely going in the right direction.
Yeah, podcasts like this. I mean, it's all the same. Drew, final thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't think it's learning. I mean, I don't know. I think we're fine. I think that Sunday was just a weird fluke happening. I mean, you think about last year, we beat LSU in that first game when their catcher threw it away into right field on a weird play. That wasn't Brady, was it? That was someone. That was different.
It's someone else, I think.
Yeah,
no, it was one of the other guys.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that. I mean, we have held on to win a lot of close games this year with our bullpen.
Yeah.
So I think that was just something that just happens, and you just got to flush it and move on.
Yeah. All right. Hey, all right. We've got number 1 in some polls, Georgia coming to town. Maybe consensus. I don't know. Where were we? I saw number 1 in a handful of those rankings that came out every week.
I saw some ones and then an RPI of 2 for them.
Yeah. So it's not like the AP like college football where the AP poll kind of establishes who's number one. Georgia comes to town. You get a little bit of a little mystery team. I mean, obviously coming off a sweep of Missouri, which we've all done, but had some ups and downs. Very good pitching team, very good hitting team. I mean, very good starting pitching team. I don't know, the bullpen's had some challenges. You'll see some good starters with them this weekend, but a very good hitting team. I don't know that it always translates on the road like it does at their ballpark. Although we're not a big cavernous yard like it's not that much different. They come to town for 3. We go Friday night at 6, and that's on SEC Network Plus. We go Saturday at 4. That's going to be a plus. And then on Mother's Day, Sunday, we got a 12 noon start on Sunday. We're the SEC Network profile game. And so big weekend coming up. Again, the final regular season weekend. We won't say the final weekend because we really want to host. But that's our upcoming schedule this weekend. Thoughts on the weekend? You get 2 out of 3. Help me how we're going to win 2 out of 3 here.
Yes.
I think we can. I don't know that I want to predict it, but I think we can. I mean, they didn't really look all that impressive last week against Missouri.
They
That was on the
had a
road.
couple of tight games with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
So they are a lot. They've done a lot better at home. They've recruited some like SoCon transfers who have done really well.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Zaboronsky, their top guy, I think he was out last weekend. I don't know if he's out this weekend or not. It's gonna be tough, but I like that we're playing them at this point of the year. So I mean, we need it if we want to host. I think we'll get at least one.
Yeah, you got to win 2 out of 3. You got to win 2 out of 3. Probably just maybe. I feel like you got to win 2 out of 3, both of them. I mean, maybe just to be.
Yeah,
tough to do.
Or let's take 3 here and then 1.
There you go.
But
I hate to break all the little kids' hearts out there, but I hope we take 2 or 3 and Brock's young boy Chandler can be upset at Uncle Roger's team for winning so many games this weekend. I mean, that would be ideal. I know that it'll be great to see Brock Bennett come back as coach over at Georgia. He's still good as far as I'm concerned, but I think 2 or 3 at home is definitely needed. I think as long as, to Roger's point, I mean, these guys have looked susceptible and draw walks. Hopefully will lead to more hits, and that'll help us carry us to victory. So
I was actually texting with Brock while we were doing this, and he says they're struggling a lot right now. So I was like,
sure.
I hope it continues.
Me too.
They can do whatever they want after this weekend, but they can go finish second in the College World Series to us after this weekend. But this weekend, I hope we thrash.
Yeah,
Meghan, get 3 2 close wins. So.
Yeah, your thoughts?
I'm calling for the sweep. I've been missing last couple weekends. I'll be around other than graduation on Saturday. So let's win 3.
There you go. Let's do it. Let's go do it. All right. So again, 6, 4, and noon on the weekend. Get out there, folks. I mean, everybody listening. We kind of got a captive audience. They're probably there anyway. But tell your friends. Let's pack that place. It's these guys really deserve it. Roger, you had one other thing.
No, what did you pick? 2?
I'll go 2 or 3. I think they got a couple of really good starters. Maybe it's the Friday night game. I think a sweep would be a tall order. But
they have a ton of power. They have a ton of power as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to keep it in the park, and I think we've I won't say underperformed in some of these, but I think when these really good teams have come to town, we've tended to be a little more timid at the plate, a little more, and I feel like it's going to take us a little time to get over that. We're going to drop one of these, but that's just me.
I'll say 2. I'll say 2 and 1 as well.
DM the hate mail to me for
that. Bro, I mean, I do hear from good sources that they really struggle against left-handers.
Yeah, that's good to know. Let's shove a bunch of them at him.
So throw Zane, pull a softball and throw Zane 3 times.
That's right.
Or 2 times around Riley in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. In closing, our guy Jimbo, Jim Ballard, get well, quit quit trying to do too much. Let's stay home, get healed.
Stay home.
Hopefully, y'all probably saw his tweet with the
He is coming.
injury.
He's
Yeah.
coming Friday and Saturday.
All right.
His brother's bringing him again, but
Yeah.
they
All
won't
right.
keep him from tripping over the curb. But
Okay.
but
Yeah.
his brother leaves Sunday morning, so he's not coming Sunday.
Not coming Sunday. Okay. Biggest gump out there, but also the most stubborn man alive, apparently. But yeah, get well if you saw his tweet. Sad note, Roger, you want to share about JC's wife? A lot of folks know JC Rinelli.
Former player JC Rinelli from the 60s. Really, really fine gentleman, nice man. We were on the committee, the stadium committee, when we were raising the money and putting it together back in 2013, 14, 15. Yeah, and his wife's been sick for several years, and she passed away. Mr. Moore called and let me know she had passed away this weekend. Yeah, they don't have services for her. I believe it's Monday. I think it's Monday.
Monday. All right, let's get sweet for her in her.
Yes, yeah, and JC's just a really, really nice, fine man. He neighbor of Paul somewhat. I know he lives in Mountain Brook. I don't know how close, but just a really fine gentleman, and he really had a struggle for about 3 or 4 years.
It's tough. So, yeah, nice guy. Condolences to the family, to him in particular. He's been at a few games this year, not many, but been there for a few. Obviously, she wasn't doing well, but we express our condolences to them, and a lot of folks who listen here will know them. All right, folks, thanks. It was a lot of fun. We as usual, we'll see everybody at the Joe starting Friday night. Let's get this sweep, and let's hope we get more baseball after this weekend at the Joe. Take us away, Peter Slight and Campland, and we will see you next time on the Weekly Joe.
Swing it, boys, swing for the fence. Shove it, boys, make 'em miss. Some big league chew in a baseball souvenir. Come on, sing with me now. The Joe is home, sweet home. It's roll, tide, roll. The Joe is home, that's right. Home, sweet home. Hey, look, is that Roll Tide Willie over there? Well, it's Bama Blitz.